We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Fatim Susa. The headlines. President Mutharika appeals to faith leaders in the country to mobilize prayers in order for the country to continue receiving good rains. Luxembourg pledges support to Dzaleka refugee camp following revelations that the World Food Programme will stop providing support due to funding constraints. And over 300,000 households benefit from the social cash transfer program across the country. We're glad you could join us. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika is calling upon all Malawians from all walks of faith to join hands in praying that the country should continue receiving good rains for a bumper harvest and further pray for an end to the prolonged dry spells which are being experienced in some parts of the country. Professor Mutharika quotes a holy scripture of 2 Chronicles, verse 7 to 14, which reads, "If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land." Likewise, the Holy Quran in Surah Nuh, that's Surah 71, verse 10 to 12, which declares, "Ask forgiveness of your Lord. Indeed, he is ever a perpetual forgiver. He will send rain from the sky upon you in continuing showers and provide you with wealth and children and will provide you with gardens and rivers." The Malawi leader is therefore asking faith leaders to lead these special prayers on any day of their choice from tomorrow, Friday, 6th February 2026 to Sunday, 8th February 2026. Meanwhile, Deputy Presidential Advisor on Religious Affairs, Reverend Alexander Kambiri, has urged faith leaders to take action by leading their congregations in prayers as called by President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. Reverend Kambiri says faith leaders have the responsibility to take action on matters of national interest as outlined in the scriptures. From Lilongwe, Patrick Dambula reports.
President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's call comes after a dry spell which has affected close to 20 districts in the country, thereby threatening crop production. Commenting on the president's call, Deputy Presidential Advisor on Religious Affairs, Reverend Alexander Kambiri, has appealed to faith leaders to act on the call by the president by leading their congregations in prayers. Reverend Kambiri says the problem at hand affects all Malawians, hence the need to join hands in prayers.
It's not a matter of just hearing what the president has said, but taking action to do something according to what the president has asked us to do. Because normally when we can just hear and remain quiet, nothing can happen. But it's our responsibility as church leaders to encourage our members to pray for this as the president has asked us to do so.
Also commenting on the matter, Apostle Mike Chisale of Remnant Church of Jesus thanked God for instilling wisdom in the president to ask for prayers, saying, 4 times without count, God has answered the nation's prayers on different issues. Hence, the same will happen this time around.
My reactions, number one, is to thank God, because it came from him that he put his words into the heart of our president. We really appreciate the initiative we have received from the president. And again, I would like to encourage believers wherever they are. We can pray and God will answer, because we have prayed many times and we have seen tangible results.
In his call, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika urged the nation to engage in prayers this coming Friday, Saturday and Sunday, which are the days of worship for almost all religions. Patrick Dambula, MBC News, Lilongwe.
In a related development, at least 14,000 farming households have been affected by prolonged dry spell in Mangochi, leaving small-scale farmers in a desperate situation. In an interview with MBC, Director of Agriculture and Natural Resources for Mangochi District Council, Nditani Malua, said the most affected areas are in the traditional authorities Nkhumba and Ichowe, with an estimate of 37,000 total planted crops damaged. Malua said the assessment is still underway, but currently the loss in the district is at 34,000 metric tons. Sotini Ndazi has compiled this report, read by Dave Umar.
In an interview with MBC, Director of Agriculture and Natural Resources for Mangochi District Council, Nditani Malua, confirmed that the worst hit areas are within traditional authorities Nkhumba and Ichowe. He estimates that approximately 37,000 hectares of crops have been damaged due to the drought. Malua also mentioned that assessments are still ongoing, but current figures indicate that the district has lost around 34,000 metric tons of produce so far.
Affected hectares come up to around 34,000, but the most affected hectares that have even reached the point of permanent wilting, they are about 17,000. So if you look at the hectarage that is affected and compared to the production that we record per year, an average of 2.4 metric tons, we expect that around maybe 34 metric tons will be lost this year. So that implies that it is going to create a huge gap in terms of food security, the households that we serve.
One of the farmers in Nkhumba Agriculture Extension Planning Area, EPA, Christina Kalukusha, lost her maize field after experiencing prolonged dry spell in January 2026. Reacting to the development, District Commissioner for Mangochi, Rodine Simwaka, expressed concern and appealed for support to the small-scale farmers affected with relief items, as the district considers to provide sustainable mechanism of winter cropping. The development follows a weather forecast for 2025-2026 seasonal rainfall released by the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services last year, which indicated that some districts in the country, including Mangochi, would be affected by dry spell. So far, crops such as maize, soybean, rice and groundnut have been destroyed completely.
President of Malawi, Professor Arthur Mutharika, is among 5 Malawians who have been nominated for the iconic Africa Honors 2026 Awards, which will be presented on 13 February 2026 in the Zimbabwean capital Harare. According to the organizers, President Mutharika will be honored for outstanding leadership and political acumen for becoming the first politician in the Southern African Development Community SADC region to win elections twice from the opposition. A Facebook post from the Malawi government shows that others who have made it to the list from Malawi are Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri, Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority MACRA Acting Director General Maya Nkoloma, MHub founder Rachel Suande, as well as irrigation expert and founder of Foundation for Irrigation and Sustainable Development FISIT, Frank Mwenechanya. Piri has also been honored to participate as a distinguished speaker through a key address aligned with 4 thematic areas, namely local government reform and decentralized development and rural development and community empowerment, among others. It says Natasha Patience Mkube is the visionary founder behind the Icons of Africa Awards, built to spotlight the people moving the continent forward, not just the most visible names. The event will be convened under the theme, The Africa We Want, Sustainable Development, Everyone's Responsibility. Now, Deputy Minister of Luxembourg, Xavier Bettel, says his government will support Dzaleka refugee camp to avoid a crisis following revelations that the World Food Programme will stop providing support due to funding issues. Xavier Bettel made the remarks after visiting Dzaleka refugee camp in Doha. He, however, commended Malawi for its resilience hosting refugees for many years now. Isaac Jali has a report.
At Dzaleka refugee camp in Doha, the Deputy Prime Minister of Luxembourg, Xavier Bettel, was briefed and then taken on a tour around the camp. The Luxembourg Deputy Prime Minister also took time to interact with some of the refugees. Speaking later, Beto expressed concern about congestion at the camp after being told that the camp is home to about 60,900 refugees. While commending Malawi for its resilience over the years hosting refugees, Xavier Beto said there is need to support Malawi and promised to discuss the situation at Dzaleka refugee camp with his government to see how they can help.
You have here a camp which was planned for 12,000 people. There are close to 60,000 people. So to see, and I will have 2 advisors of me who will come back in the next 2 or 3 months to see how we can be helpful too, how to avoid the worst. You have people who left everything where they were and they don't find much more here, but at least a safe place. They have no job, they have no money, with food it's very, very little, but at least they survive. The future is not to stay in a camp for the next 50 years. The future should be to be integrated, to have a chance of survive, maybe to go back in their country if they have opportunities, maybe to be resettled, but to have a future. If we just say this is a place that we just put people in, this is not how we deal with the situation, especially humanitarian situation.
Commissioner for Refugees General Ignacio Maulana, retired, appealed for support to avert the crisis, saying by June, World Food Programme will not be able to continue providing cash to refugees, citing funding issues. To date, World Food Programme provides $12, an equivalent of 21,000 kwacha per individual, to at least 57,000 refugees, while new arrivals receive food.
The World Food Programme has said they may not have food up by June. Government knows, everybody knows. We are looking at other stakeholders, trying to talk to donors. Whatever assistance we can have, I think is going to be welcome. But the current situation is by June, unless if something, a miracle happens, World Food Programme will not be supporting this camp.
Dzaleka refugee camp in Dowa is home to 60,900 refugees, mostly from the Democratic Republic of Congo DRC, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Sudan, Uganda, among other countries. Currently, the number continues to grow as the camp receives 300 new arrivals every month, while also over 200 children are born at the camp every month. Isaac Jali, MBC, Doha.
The Beautify Malawi Beam Trust says it is set to unveil its 2026 to 2030 strategic plan. National coordinator for the trust, Dingiswayo Jerry, told MBC that the plan will be unveiled end of February. Jerry says the plan, among others, outline opportunities of collaboration in promoting good health and sanitation, education, and supporting the underprivileged. Maintumodzi reports.
National Coordinator for the Beautify Malawi Beam Trust, Dingiswayo Jele, says the trust has managed to implement its plans that were outlined in the 2020 to 2025 strategy. He cited supporting education by paying tuition fees for secondary and tertiary students, construction of girls' hostels, promotion of health and sanitation, as well as supporting afforestation programs nationwide.
We've been doing a lot of things so far. We've been continuing to pay school fees and support the students, children in secondary schools, and some in the universities. We've still been doing up supporting in terms of sanitation in most of the secondary schools where we had constructed up the students' girls' hostels, and also in the afforestation programs. We have been carrying out all those things in line with our strategic plan that we were following from 2020 to 2025.
Now that the plan ended last year, Jerry says the trust is set to unveil its new strategy for 2026 to 2030, end of this February. He says the new strategy, among others, offers an opportunity for partnerships to champion and facilitate a nationwide movement for improved public health and environmental sanitation.
It is an important venture to partner with Beautify Malawi, looking at the things that we are doing to support the communities, the less vulnerable, but also at the same time, how we can improve our health and sanitation in our beautiful country, Malawi. So for the partners that are really seeing and speaking to our core as Beautify Malawi, let them come along And then they would really be able to see what is it that we're trying to bring out in terms of our strategic plan in the coming 5 years, from 2026 to 2030.
Beam Trust was established in 2014 by the First Lady, Professor Gertrude Mutharika, with a vision of promoting hygiene and sanitation for sustainable national development, among others. Maim Tumodzi, MBC News, Lilongwe.
You're watching MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika appeals to faith leaders in the country to mobilize prayers in order for the country to continue receiving good rains. Luxembourg pledges support to Dzaleka refugee camp following revelations that the World Food Programme will stop providing support due to funding constraints. And over 300,000 households benefit from the social cash transfer program across the country. Now, the Lilongwe Principal Resident Magistrates Court has granted bail to 3 former senior government officials accused of abusing their offices in the awarding of a contract to a foreign firm, East Bridge. The accused are former Minister of Finance Sosten Gwengwe, former Minister of Agriculture Sam Kawale, and former Secretary to the President and Cabinet Colleen Zamba. Principal Resident Magistrate Benjamin Chulu ordered that each of the 3 pay cash bail of 2 million kwacha, provide 2 reliable and traceable sureties bonded at 5 million kwacha each, surrender their travel documents, and report to the police once every month. Defense lawyer Kumbo Soko welcomed the court's decision, saying it allows his clients to prepare adequately for trial.
No, we're quite happy. Today was a routine appearance. The accused persons having been heard for periods ranging between 48 to 72 hours, the state was obliged to bring them to court to explain why they had been arrested. You will observe that there was no resistance to the prayer for bail, and they have been admitted to bail. We will now await the service of disclosures, which are statements of proposed evidence that the state intends to lead in this matter. Yeah, we thought the conditions were rather standard. You know, so sometimes in this business you shouldn't, be cantankerous just for its own sake. Yeah, so we thought that the conditions that they were proposing were quite standard, and that's why we didn't object.
The case is scheduled to commence on 5th March 2026. Now, moving on, the social cash transfer program has so far benefited 341,000 households out of the 381,000 targeted households across the country in the 2025-2026 financial year. Deputy Director of Social Welfare, responsible for Social Cash Transfer Program, Laurent Kansinjiro, confirmed this during an interview with MBC. Chikondi Pompi has more in this report, read by Blessings Gondwe.
To improve livelihoods of resource-constrained households in Malawi, government initiated and has been implementing social cash transfer program, which among others is supporting beneficiary households to establish small-scale businesses. Laurent Kansinjilo, Deputy Director of Social Welfare responsible for the social cash transfer program, says through the Center for the Social Research, they are conducting follow-up assessment to evaluate the impact of the program on the beneficiaries.
In terms of coverage, we are now at 341,000 household beneficiaries, which translates to around 2 million people. We have been conducting retargeting, and we are nearing a completion of that particular retargeting, which will eventually see us having 381,000 households, up from 293,000 households in the previous year, which translates into an 18% coverage increase.
The program's target has expanded from 293,000 households to 381,000 households, marking a 13% increase to cover more households in need.
2026 will mark 5 years since government delinked constituent colleges of what was then the University of Malawi into standalone universities. Godfrey Maocha looks at the progress some of the colleges have made after becoming standalone universities.
In 2019, the Malawi government enacted a law to separate constituent colleges of the then University of Malawi into standalone universities in what is called the delinking of the University of Malawi. And in 2021, constituent colleges of the University of Malawi were officially delinked and started working as standalone universities. The main reason for the delinking were to increase the intake of students, improve efficiency and infrastructure development, among others. Chancellor College adopted the name of the mother university. It is now called the University of Malawi, with main offices in Zomba. Its vice-chancellor is Professor Samson Sajidu. He says 5 years down the line, the University of Malawi has seen an increase in student enrollment and also established itself as a center of attraction in research.
Received strong international recognition. Webometrics and EduRank ranked as #1 in Malawi in 2021, while the Center for World University Rankings in 2024 placed as #1 in Malawi, and that was within the top 7.6%. And later in 2025, we were in the top 6.8% of the world's top 20,000 universities, making us the only university in the country to consistently appear in these rankings.
Some kilometers away from Zomba lies the Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, MUBAS, which was known as a polytechnic. Professor Nancy Chitera is its vice-chancellor. She says her institution has introduced more demand-driven academic programs which would have been difficult to introduce under the old UNIMA. However, she laments that an increase in student intake has also met one challenge, that is lack of sufficient accommodation for the students. However, there is some green light.
We are making strides within that particular area. Government has now given us the resources to put up the hostel. So we'll start. It has taken us long to start this particular hostel because of our procurement processes and procedures and then the issues of funding. But now, this year, we are starting to put up that particular hostel. But also, we continue to engage different stakeholders to help us with this particular issue of funding accommodation for our students.
Apart from MUBAS and UNIMA, other constituent colleges of the then University of Malawi, namely College of Medicine and the Kamuzu College of Nursing, were merged to form the Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, KUHES. Another constituent college, Bunda College of Agriculture, was unbundled in 2011 and merged with the Natural Resources College to form the Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Luana. Godfrey Maocha, MBC News, Blantyre.
The body of legendary Malawian striker Esau Kanyenda has been laid to rest in Manchester in the United Kingdom. Back home, the Football Legends Association organized a memorial ceremony at Bingu National Stadium where people followed the burial proceedings live on a big screen. Paul Mlowoka was there and has filed this report.
The ceremony attracted several prominent figures, including the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Alfred Gangata. Speaking during the ceremony, Gangata applauded the Football Legends Association for organizing the event, saying it had honored the fallen hero. He further encouraged the younger generation of footballers to emulate Esau Kanyenda's humility and patriotism. For his part, Football Legends Association chairperson Jim Kalua thanked all those who came out to mourn Kanyenda. He said the former striker had left an indelible mark on the hearts of many Malawians.
A sad moment, that is indeed. I would say that is I'm very thankful for that is the ceremony I think has been good. You can see that is from UK. I think the seven, I think, is still going on. Here at Being National Stadium, there are people here, there are regions. So thank you so much. And all I can say that is I'm really satisfied. And may the soul of Esau Black Mamba Kanyenda rest in peace.
Kanyenda died on 2 December 2025 in England after a battle with liver cancer. Paul Mlowoka, MBC News, Lirongwe.
And that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A recap of our top stories before we leave. President Mutharika appeals to faith leaders in the country to mobilize prayers in order for the country to continue receiving good rains. Luxembourg pledges support to Dzaleka refugee camp following revelations that the World Food Programme will stop providing support due to funding constraints. And over 300,000 households benefit from the social cash transfer program across the country. Well, keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You were with me, Sifatim Susa. Thanks for watching and bye for now.
Good morning, and it's time for weather forecast. Localized thunderstorms and heavy rains are expected to persist over most areas in the north as well as the central, but we should also expect isolated thunderstorms and rains to start appearing in some areas over the south from tomorrow, 6th of February 2026. This is all due to the influence of the Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ, which was originally influencing rainfall activities just over the northern part of the country and the central, but it's now moving southwards, which means it will also be influencing rainfall activities over the southern part. This is why this morning, cloudy conditions are persisting over most areas in the north, the central, as well as in some parts over the south. Localized thunderstorms and rains are also persisting over most areas in the north and the central, coupled with fog conditions.